What's good, everybody? Welcome back to the All Things Basketball Podcast. I'm your host, Vic Lopez, as always. I was sick for a couple of days, completely lost my voice, took some time away. I'm also, like I said, doing some things for high school basketball on the side, and made some time to watch all three of the games for these next prospects I wanted to make a video of. Let's get right into it. Nets made history on draft night. They selected 5 players in the first round. That surpassed the 2009 Timberwolves, which I wasn't even aware of until draft night, that was like a record. And look, the 4 guys they selected that year: Ricky Rubio, Johnny Flynn, yikes, Ty Lawson, Wayne Ellington. Now, I was under the impression, like I think everybody else, that there would be some more movement on the side of the Brooklyn Nets. This was a team that, for all the things you read about, you see the Bobby Marks stuff, this is a team that controls the draft because of all these picks, and who knows what they're going to do. Are they going to trade up and just move for future assets? None of that happened, obviously. They take all their swings, and the swings were a couple of players that I was a fan of and had written down on a long list pre-draft. Took some time to watch some of those guys before they were even selected, and it made me really interested in watching their summer league. So Nets are not taking swings on these players if they think that they're going to become a Wayne Ellington or a Ty Lawson, or obviously not a Johnny Flynn and Ricky Rubio, who honestly was a very talented player. These are swings for guys with high potential but also high risk, and I'm all for it. I'm all for the gamble by Brooklyn. I always like when I get thrown off by a team. It's always nice to see a team kind of toe that line between OKC level draft genius and potential malpractice, right? Like, that's just going to be a fun thing to watch this season if you have the Brooklyn Nets and you're able to watch them on League Pass or wherever else you can. That being said, let's take a look at what these guys did in Summer League. So looking at these numbers, not something that if you're not a big Summer League watcher, if you're not even familiar with these guys, you're probably thinking, what the hell is going on, right? These numbers are not impressive. If you're not someone that watches a lot of Summer League, I understand if there's early panic, early concerns, right? I totally get it. If you're someone who didn't even like these prospects pre-draft, you're sitting on I told you so mountain if you're an overreactor, right? Now, if you're watching this video to get an optimistic but honest take on these guys, then you've come to the right place. So let's jump right into it. And I'm going to start with their earliest pick, Jaor Diomomen, right? Who I had to make sure I got his name right. That's how you pronounce it. And look, man, 6'8", 6'10" wingspan. According to the combine measurements, those kind of things always draw attention, right? When you hear those things. Now, there's no shot he doesn't like, which tells me that the confidence is absolutely there. All right. For someone that shot as poorly as the numbers say in college, 27.3% in college on 154 three-pointers attempted. Now, he definitely played this way in Summer League in the sense of he's taking more threes than twos, not really drawing free throws, not really getting into that paint, right? On those drives, he kind of lived outside of the three-point line, right? Outside of the paint, just kind of hanging out at the perimeter, making his entry passes and doing things like that. But you know what? For what the numbers say in college, I was impressed with how confident he was in the shot taking, because I'm thinking, if I'm just looking at these raw numbers, because I didn't watch Jaor at BYU, so I was watching like the scouting videos pre-draft and reading the draft notes and things like that. So I'm thinking, I'm under the assumption this guy with the 27% from 3, he's gonna be a guy that probably passes up shots, and who knows, right? Like, who knows what the shot even looks like before I even got to see him on video. I actually love his mechanics. Like, when I watch him shoot the ball in Summer League, the ball has great rotation. He has a quick release. The form doesn't look bad at all. It actually looks awesome. Like, I enjoyed watching him shoot the ball. Now, the shot selection is something that I was like, okay, all right. Like, this guy is not afraid to take any shot. Just, you can see it on these clips, right? Just, contested, off the move, a guy is closing out on him, he's just rising up and shooting over their face. Maybe sometimes it goes in, sometimes it doesn't. He actually shot it well in Summer League. I like the aggression, shooting the ball, right? This was a dude that was mic'd up in Summer League in some moments, and talking about, he doesn't know why guys are going under on screens when they're guarding him. He's got that confidence for sure, just in the way that he talks. He shows the leadership. Just he's very vocal with his team, whether he's on the floor or on the bench. So a lot of good signs, right? I also saw some really good passing and vision in general. Like, this guy played really well in pick and rolls. And look, he's either throwing that pocket pass to Drew Timme, finding him on those easy entry passes, because obviously with his size, he can just kind of back up, see over any defender that's guarding him, and just toss it up with ease, no problem. Has really good touch on that. He's making those skip passes when the help defender is tagging the roller when he's playing in that pick and roll. I'm not going to say he lived up to that playmaking, oh my God, best playmaker in the draft, right, in the class, because that's everything I read about Jaor, right? It's like, oh, this is the best passer in the draft, the best playmaker, generational vision, and things like that. So I'm thinking, all right, like, I'm ready to see Magic Johnson on the floor, right? Like, that's what I was just assuming. And he did show me really good passing, good timing, great touch, good vision, right? But I think he came into the Summer League, and I felt like he came out to just show that he could actually shoot the ball and score, right? Like, that's kind of how I felt. He was just living at that three-point line and just taking a bunch of shots. And while he did make some good passes that didn't even end up in assists, so he definitely could have averaged more assists had his teammates actually knocked down some shots, wasn't really the idea I had of him when I was reading all this stuff pre-draft. He did have a really nice dunk. Catches an inbound pass, just puts the ball down, gets all the way downhill, and just one-handed slam. That was nice to see. Very interesting as well. I didn't know he had that type of athleticism, so that was awesome to see. Now, I want to talk about the questions on Jaor. Like, are the beautiful shot mechanics gonna translate into the shots going in, right? He shot it at over 40% in Summer League, so that's always a good sign. Another question I have is, can he be the lead guard? Right, at 6'8", right? This guy seems to like hanging out on the perimeter, like I mentioned earlier. Doesn't really draw free throws. Didn't seem to want to get to that rim. Kind of really, just like I said, just hangs out outside and is happy just jump shooting, right? So I don't know if that was a lot of what he did in college. Like I said, I watched some tape and some scouting videos. So that was kind of the vibe that I got from watching all that stuff. And it was very apparent in Summer League. So that's something that I'm interested in seeing if he's going to kind of add that, which, look, he's insanely young. I think he's like 19 right now. So tons of room to grow. The ball handling isn't bad. Like, when I went online to see what people felt like after watching Jaor in Summer League, a lot of people were saying the handle's not good. The handle's very sloppy. Look, is the handle tight, crispy, awesome? No. Is it awful? No. Like, he was bringing it up. He was comfortable. Now, I will say this. When the ball pressure was up, right, when the defenders were physical, I could see him losing his handle here and there, right, kind of losing control of it, picking it back up, and re-attacking. He did obviously turn it over a few times, and he looked a little sloppy here and there, but nothing that made me think that he can't eventually improve and have those lead guard NBA level handles. I think he can definitely get to that level, right? Like, it's not like I saw someone who couldn't dribble the ball or like didn't have good control of it with defense in front of him, right? Now, I will say this, without the pick and roll, man, I guess that's probably where people are going with it, with the handle thing. Without the screener, I saw the struggle to get by guys, right? So that, I guess, now that I'm thinking about it, that does make sense, right? Like, can he do it without the screener? And my other question to that then is, if I'm countering that, is will he need to worry about not using a screener? I mean, this is the NBA, 2025-26 season. Like, he's going to have a pick and roll man, like, anytime he wants, right? It's just going to be on call. So am I worried about him not being able to beat his man one-on-one? That is a concern if you want him to be your lead guard for sure. But I see the comfort in pick and rolls. So, that's a good thing at least. But, will he be able to score and create without the screener? And that's something that is a fair question that you can ask. Now, last random notes that I had here. I liked his off-ball defense, right? Not like, oh my God, hyper elite stuff, but he uses that length, uses that wingspan. He's got quick feet. He's taking a swipe if someone's driving, and if they make the kick out, he's quickly out there and contesting, so definitely shows the effort. He's got that IQ, and he shows that he can definitely hang as a help defender. So that was something I really liked. I'm in on this player, all right? I like Jaor Diomomen. It turned a lot of heads to see that he went so early in the draft. I was looking at mock picks before the draft happened. I saw him 16th. I saw him in the 20s. Some people online saying he's like second round. You take a risk at him. You know, it's like all over the place, right? Like no one really knew where this guy was going to go. But when he got selected, it looked like no one even thought that that was a possibility. At least that's how I felt, right? Now, let's move on to the next guy, okay? Pick number 19, Nolan Trayori, right? I hope I'm saying that right, okay? So don't attack me if I'm not. 6'3", 6'8" wingspan, French guard. Now, if you want a player with completely mixed reviews from people, look no further than Nolan. I mean, this is like, there's Killian Hayes stuff out there, right? Quick guard, you know, good with the handle, can't shoot, just inefficient, right, scoring-wise, and all of a sudden, people with Killian Hayes PTSD start to come up, and you can see that stuff online, right? There's a lot of people that are not on the Nolan train, and just like there's a lot of other people that really like Nolan, and I'll get right into that, right? So, look, man, undersized guards that can't shoot, inefficiency, those are all the things that, you know, they get me thinking, oh no, I'm out. Like, I'm done with this, right? And I'm thinking my expectations are now, like, from here, because he got picked 19th, they're starting to drop when I start reading all these things. And then I watch him in Summer League. I watch him get downhill, crafty acrobatic layup around the defenders. Then I see another acrobatic layup, good body control. Then I see the insane speed out of a handoff and finish at the rim. And then I see the burst again, around the corner, coming around the pick and roll, and he finishes again. And then I see him get downhill again, full speed, defense collapses, he jumps up in the air, whips a pass to a wide open teammate for three. I see the insane change of pace when he's rejecting screens, reading on ball and help defense, making quick decisions. He's throwing those behind the back passes. I see the vision and I'm in. I'm already in, right? Like, I'm watching this and I'm thinking, all right, like, I'm all in on this guy now. He sees the floor really well, finds guys on time, very confident, and unlike Jaor, he can actually beat his man no problem. There's De'Aaron Fox comparisons in terms of speed, not like the crazy athleticism and any of that, or the defense for that matter, but the speed. This dude, I think he's the fastest guy in the class. I mean, he is a bullet, okay? First step isn't like, oh my God, but it's about just that speed, right? It's just, he gets downhill, coming out of handoffs. He is just a blur. And usually I would think, okay, well, how does it look when he's getting to that rim? Good body control, right? Just like he slows down right on the way there. Even when he's at full speed, I see him finishing around the rim with really good touch. Now, there's some crazy moments that I'll talk about in a second. Like, you know, actually, you know what? Let's get right into the bad stuff with Nolan. So, not a good shooter, right? I mean, that was something I already talked about earlier. But he won't pass up shots if he's open. All right, so that's good. I also don't think the mechanics are problematic. Like, it's not just some broken shot looking thing, right? Like, it looks like something that you can definitely work with. I see the foundation, right? So that remains to be seen either way. But then there's a game against the Knicks, right? I'm waiting for teams to adjust and be like, you know what? We're going to go under on all these screens. We're going to collapse collectively. We're just going to completely clog up this paint and see what Nolan does, right? And look, man, against the Knicks, 1 for 8 from the field, not a single free throw. He's getting to that paint. Guys are there waiting for him, and they know where he wants to get to, right? And look, man, he makes Ariel Hukporti look like first-team all-defense Anthony Davis on a couple of drives. I mean, Nolan's just like, he gets downhill, he sees Ariel Hukporti, and he just tries to get, you know, to finish in the, like, around the rim in the paint, and it's just a really bad miss. And then he tries it again. It's another bad miss. And it's just, you start to see, right, the limitations of a player that can't shoot the ball, undersized, not strong yet, right? And you start to see kind of what that might look like in an NBA season, right? Until the shot actually becomes a reliable thing, if it ever will become one. So, you know, those are the kind of things that if you're not a Nolan Trayori believer, those are the reasons, right? And I understand. You know, he's going to a team that finished 24th in three-point percentage, okay? So he's going to see, like, not only defenders going under on his pick and rolls, he's going to see cluttered paints. I mean, these guys are going to cheat off of guys and force those extra passes, and they're just going to make it really difficult for Nolan to kind of have his way getting to that rim. So that's going to be interesting. Now, Jordi Fernandez, as we know, stylistically, this is a guy that he wants high three-point volume. They were 8th in three-pointers attempted last season, so we're going to expect the same thing next season, and it is something he talked about in some of these Summer League broadcasts when they were interviewing him. So that's going to be really interesting because Nolan's a guy that, look, man, in transition, like I said, when he gets that head of steam, he is fascinating to watch. So, all in all, just my last thoughts, it's interesting how opposite him and Jaor are, right? Like Jaor, more of a let me hang out around this three-point line kind of guy with the size and the length, and not really let me go and get to that rim, right? Attack and just get by guys one-on-one. Then you have Nolan on the other end of the spectrum. No, I'm going to get downhill and I'm going to find guys when I drive, or I'm going to try to finish around the rim full speed, not really worry about hanging out at the three-point line because that's not really something I'm comfortable with. So very interesting how these guys kind of are, different in that sense. Moving on to Ben Saraf. Okay, this was a guy, 26th pick, 6'6", with a 6'8" wingspan, Israeli point guard. I was pretty familiar with his game. He was one of those guys I had written on my list pre-draft. I was very interested. Anytime I see a guy that's not an athletically gifted player, like not going to jump out of the gym, dunk on people, or has this insane speed, but somehow creates windows every time and somehow uses those angles, this is a guy for you if you're interested in that kind of player. So, like, the quick hitting thoughts that come to mind: very understanding of playing with pace. Changes pace, changes direction. He's very deceptive with the ball in his hands. Great footwork. Honestly, really good handle for a guy that doesn't like to go right, but he will use the right. Like don't get it twisted. He is a left-handed player, very left-hand dominant, right? Like he does always want to get to that left hand, but I saw him comfortably getting to that right side. And if defense wasn't going to really attack it because, they're kind of giving him that right side, he'll use it, he'll get it, and then spin back to his left. He's also got really nice, tight spin move with good speed, right? Good quickness on the spin move. Really good body control. And honestly, with the deceleration, like if that's one thing that I noted several times watching him in Summer League, this guy's got awesome deceleration. He has that down. Okay, and he'll spin, slow down, pump fake, stay on his feet, get a defender to leave the ground, and then he'll rise up and try to take a shot or a layup around the rim. Looks very crafty, has really good vision, good passing ability, really good touch. He finds the roller on the pocket at the right time. He'll make that skip pass if they tag the roller, similar to how I was talking about with Jaor Diomomen, right? Now, this guy, the side-to-side movement, he is very shifty, honestly, and he was getting by guys, no problem, right? Now, look, some people maybe aren't so big on the handle. I'm actually more optimistic on that. I thought his handle was fine. And especially with the way he's getting around defenders without screens, like I'm actually watching him get by these defenders. Now, these aren't NBA caliber guards or wings, but he's already showing that, hey, I'm going to use angles, change of pace, head fakes. Maybe I reject a screen because you think I'm going to take it. I'll go right if you think I'm just going to always go left. And he finds his way to get to the rim every time. Creates shot windows, and that's kind of the thing I want to talk about next, because obviously, like every prospect, here comes the bad, right? I mean, for anyone that's like big on athleticism, especially from someone that's going to be holding the ball a lot and maybe making decisions, and how does this guy score, right? If you're going to give the guy the ball a lot. If you're big on athleticism, you're probably not going to be big on this guy, right? Because that's just not his strength. Now, I've become less inclined on, thinking that that's a problem. We've seen tons of success already from players that aren't as athletically gifted, as long as they can shoot the ball, right, to keep the defense honest, have a reliable handle, and not be afraid of contact in traffic, right? Like those things really help you if you don't have that, crazy athleticism. Now, this guy cannot shoot the ball. And I'm looking at the free throws. They look rough as well in Summer League. The shot, it's not like this hideous looking shot, but I'm just not a fan of those two motion shots. And he shoots like a slingshot, and it's an air ball. He's missing it to the left. He's missing it to the right. He hits the front rim sometimes. There's no consistency when I'm watching him shoot the ball. he does create windows for himself. So that's a start, right? Like if you're struggling to create windows, it's problematic. But this is a guy that, like I said, he finds creative ways to get those shot windows. And you'll see it in the mid-range, you'll see it in the paint. And, you know, when the shot clock's winding down, you'll see how he kind of breaks free for a nice little mid-range shot that doesn't go in, you know, and he made a couple of shots. He does get to the rim. He's not afraid of contact, and he doesn't seem to crack under pressure in traffic. He does miss some layups. That's something that, you know, he's just going to have to work on and get used to the speed and the defense. And this isn't even NBA level defense. So really interesting stuff. Defensively, I didn't walk away thinking this guy was awful. All right. Like, did I walk away thinking he's going to be great or good? No. Like, that's something he's definitely going to have to work on. I do like that he moves pretty well laterally. Okay. I like the length and the wingspan, size, right? Like he's definitely, you can convince yourself that he's going to be at least switchable, right? And you're not going to give up size on several positions because he's 6'6", right? So, and he's got a decent wingspan too. So like, you know, those kind of things you can kind of work with in a team defense setting if you can scheme it properly, and if he's also built up some strength and obviously just over time learning how to defend at an NBA level. So, you know, I don't think that's a lost cause at all. I think he definitely has potential to be solid defensively. Now at the 26th pick, I actually love the risk, and I'm a fan of his game. I really like him. I think that in the right position, in the right places, he could really turn some heads. And I think if you're not a fan of him, he may change your mind, right? So definitely a fan of him. Now, let's get to the last guy. This was a guy that I also had on my list pre-draft. I was a fan of him, watching his scouting videos, reading all the stuff about him, watching the clips and some games that I could. And look, man, Danny Wolf, 27th pick, 6'10" forward out of Michigan. Another one of the guys I loved watching. I mean, just skill. Like, if I could have one word for this guy, skill. All it takes really is consistency with the shooting, and how is he going to be defensively? Because look, man, I mean, this guy, he reminds me of Kyle Filipowski in this sense. Okay, don't go crazy when you hear that, but this is why. Big man, right? But not really a big man. Right? I don't think he's going to be able to play the 5 and protect the rim, right? And that's something that we know Kyle Filipowski is not going to be doing right now. I mean, doesn't really move well laterally defensively, right? And he's not really going to be a guy that you want as your rim protector, right? But yet considered a big man, right? But he can shoot the ball, right? Not efficiently yet, right? Not like a Kyle Filipowski, right? Because I think Kyle's a better shooter than him, for sure. But I see the foundation, right? I like the form, I like the mechanics, the confidence, and you can see the fluidity, right? There's a smoothness to his game that you can see already, right? Whether he puts it together or not, that's why the Brooklyn Nets are taking that swing on Danny Wolf. Now, 33.6% from 3 on 113 3-point attempts. So, not a sniper yet, you know, and if that's the percentage at the college level, you know it's going to take some work in the NBA level, right? Unless for whatever reason he is able to put it together right away in the NBA. We'll see about that. And, you know, really good passer, great touch, high IQ, not afraid of contact, which is always a good sign. If you're considered a big, right, that isn't really a rim protector, the handle is really nice. I mean, if you watch Danny Wolf for a few seconds of him bringing the ball up, he's got the between the leg dribble. It's like really quick and smooth and fluid, and it looks real. It doesn't look like fake handles in an open floor where there's no one defending him and he breaks it out just to kind of show off. He'll do it in traffic and you'll see it. Like, help defense will try to tag him, like swipe along, and he'll bring it behind his back real quick, and he's got the ball right there in his hand. It looks good. So, you know, there's a lot of moments where he shows the passing, he shows the touch, he shows the skill, he shows you the vision, right? The quick decision making. He likes to play with his back to the basket and kind of scan the floor. If there's cutters, he's going to find them. If no one's available, he's going to try to take a shot in tight windows, right? Where there's like barely any space. He's got that post fadeaway that he's comfortable with, even though the efficiency, we still need to wait on it. But I really like the reason that they drafted this guy. I mean, clearly, if he puts the shot together, this is a great pick. And honestly, a steal in the draft. Now, defensively, that's where things get tricky, because it's like, all right, well, if he's not your rim protector, right? That means he's, you could play him at the power forward, which is always what I've been saying about Kyle Filipowski. This is like my second year in a row saying, stop thinking that he's going to play the 5 unless you're not going to complain about rim protection. You know what I mean? Like that's just it. So look, man, he could play the 4, right? If you're going to put a rim protector next to him. But now if he's playing the 4, is he going to hold his own defensively, whether it's on the perimeter or, laterally, just in general? And it's not like he moves bad. You can work with the way he moves. He's not this like statue either defensively. Like I'm seeing stunting and recovering on help defense, like in some sequences. So he's got something to work with, in my opinion. I'm a big fan of Danny Wolf. And look, man, if that shot, if he can get it at like a 38% clip from 3, he's going to have some real solid minutes, right? He's definitely going to crack the rotation. If he can't get the shot down, and defense is still like, tricky and not really holding his own, and you don't really know what to do with him, I think at best he's a solid backup big, right? Can he be a solid starter? Yes, because he has the tools and he shows you the flashes of the potential. I'm a fan of Danny Wolf, and I'm very optimistic. Brooklyn's got their work cut out for them. I mean, taking all these swings in one draft means they better get it right, or it's a huge fail. Thanks for watching this video. This is the All Things Basketball Podcast. I'm your host, Vic Lopez, as always. I'll catch you guys on the next one.